Hey, how's everybody doing? Hello. I'm doing pretty good. So today I'm going to be playing, I guess you would call it Sonic the Hedgehog on the NES. It's a modification of a game that was released by bootleggers in somewhere in Asia. I'm not sure. That called Somari, which is sort of a Sonic-like game with a character that looks like Mario but acts like Sonic. The it was pretty bad. So somebody took it upon themselves to modify it and fix it up a little bit so it at least sounds a little better, so that you actually play as Sonic. And let me have this down here. That'll probably help. And so that it plays a little bit better at least. I'm going to be playing it on my Famicom with my EverDrive N8. I have an AV modded Famicom, but it has a little bit of noise on the AV line, so I apologize if there's any buzzing or anything like that that pops up. Hopefully, hopefully I've got it in a position where that won't happen too much. I think there will be just a slight underbuzz, but yeah, I figured it'd be fun to play this on the real hardware, especially since this should work perfectly fine on the real hardware, since that's all that was available when Somari was created. And also, thank you to Wilson and to Saturn Dev for the compliments. All right, I'm gonna hope I don't run into any problems with this because I'm playing without save states. Should be ready to go. My upscaler is going to drag this across the entire screen. It didn't used to do that. I don't know why it's doing that now, but I haven't figured out how to stop it. So it will be widescreen stretched a little bit. Hey, Lava. I think we're ready to go. Let me switch it on. Uh, all right. Hopefully, I've got the volume levels good. And let's go. This is already sounding a lot better. Well, not with that buzz. I was certain I had that settled right. Unfortunately, when I bought the AV modded Famicom, it came this way, and I haven't had a chance to open it up. I'm kind of scared to open it up. Really, I I don't want to mess it up trying to fix it. Oh, come on now. Huh? What happened to the back? What happened to the background? I am hearing some major improvements in the sound, both the music and the sound effects. Oh, feels a little more Sonic-y. Still some problems with the controls, but that's that's pretty much to be expected considering how this started out. I don't imagine that modifying NES games is quite as easy as modifying like Genesis games, especially with the especially trying to program them with the 8-bit processor. Man, I've tried Z80 and I tried a little bit of the Super Nintendo, which is just a hacked 8-bit processor. It's a very slightly modified version of the NES processor, and I much prefer stuff like the Motorola in the Genesis and the ARM type processors. So what did happen to the background? Does anybody know? Is that normal? I have played through the original Somari. I've beaten it, but that was a while ago, and I think I had to use save states. So Sonic feels just a little bit, I think the speed is better, the acceleration is better, but overall the controls still funky. It still feel funky, and yeah. Oh, that's the background. I thought that was an error. Ah. I guess if that crops up too much, I might have to switch to emulation. Oh, it won't let me go back. I'm not gonna have the rings for the special stage. Oh. And I thought I was at the end already, okay. Ah! Non-bootleg 8-bit Sonic games. Okay, so how do I feel about this compared to the regular 8-bit Sonic games like on the Master System, the Game Gear? The Game Gear Master System ones are better still. They do have better general controls. Oh. I don't even have half the rings I need. I think what's on the screen changes whether or not I'm getting interference in the AV line. Man, this is worse. This is worse than it has been. I haven't actually used this in a little while, but like this is what I recorded my Mario 1 playthrough on. I didn't have it freaking out that much in that one. Yeah, this is definitely this is definitely an improvement over regular Somari. I think if I want the Chaos Emeralds, I'm gonna have to play pretty carefully. Ah! Oh, good. You can, looks like you can spin mid-air. So, okay, yeah, you do that by pressing down. That's very good. There goes the background again. Hell, I'm gonna let you guys take a vote. Would you prefer I keep trying to play it on hardware, or would you prefer that I switch over to emulation? I'm sorry about all the weird interference. Ooh, emulation's winning real hard right now. Ah, well, I can take a revote if people are worried about me getting stressed out with the buzz. What's worrying me is whether or not it's bothering you guys all that much. I mean, if you want to see me play on hardware, I don't mind the constant adjustments. Yeesh. Hey, Neon. Ah, that's something I'm worried about too, actually, is like, there could be some strange thing I run into that crashes the game. It has a, it does have a level select, but that won't allow me to, do an all Chaos Emeralds attempt. Well, actually, you don't get Chaos Emeralds in this one, do you? You go to the special stage, but you don't get the Chaos Emeralds. I don't think it really matters. Well, I'll finish out Green Hill here, and if everybody wants me to switch to emulation, I will do so, and then play the game from there. Just see if anything else weird pops up during this one zone. Does anybody else have a AV modded Famicom? Have you had to deal with the interference problem? Oops. Yeah, the when the NES was released in America, it got AV, but the original Famicom didn't have it, so we had to it has to be modded to have AV output. Yeah, mine's running out the back in the same spot as the port for controller 2, and it seems that there's some chips around it that occasionally have some that occasionally bleed over into the signal, and yeah, it causes all that interference. I'm able to get around it by moving around the two wires that are coming out of the same port, and eventually I'll find a spot where it doesn't get affected so much. But right now, it just keeps coming back. Naturally, yeah, I'm not hearing it right now. But yeah, I got a lot of votes for emulation, so we won't take any chances. I will switch over now. So let's play this in FCEUX. Wait, oh, okay, there's the size multiplier. About 8. Well, 8, look. Oh, 8's too big. Alright, I'll try 4. Yeah, 4 should work. Alright, I think that I can get this. Alright, can test the sound a little bit again, see if I can get a good level. Alright. Ooh, that's a little big. Okay, there we go. So I've got the keys for that now. Do you mean a cartridge of Somari? I don't have one of those, unfortunately. I would like to collect stuff like that, but in that way I have very little. So I was just playing a ROM image on my EverDrive N8, the EverDrive version for Famicom. Basically, I think they call them a flash cart, but I'm not sure if that's the correct term because it uses SD cards. I don't know. That is weird that the background changed like that on the hardware. This somehow feels even more awkward playing it on keyboard than it did on the Famicom controller. I wonder... yeah, my controller isn't ready. Why can't I hit that guy? I guess you can't take out those wall neutrons. Ah. I want to get into the special stage at least 7 times. I'll count that as getting all the Chaos Emeralds. Because this has a special stage like the one in Sonic 1 for the Master System or the Game Gear. Which I think is going to be I think it's going to be a real treat to play after I've gone completely through this one. But again, this is a vast improvement over regular Somari. Those ones that shoot at you are just completely invulnerable. Well, actually, they're newts. They're called Neutron. Oh, come on. I think the jump height's been increased because I remember there was at least one pit like that you couldn't jump out of with Somari, and then you just keep losing your rings, and they'd bounce back and forth, and it would take you forever to die. So hills don't really work very good here. If you're moving too fast... I'm losing my rings just trying to show it off. So if you're moving too fast, you'll go off of it. It might have to... Oh, okay, yeah. So as soon as I hit top speed, I don't even stay connected to the ground. So I can spin, and yeah, it has no effect on spinning. Yeah, I do like the level layouts. At least Green Hill Zone. I don't remember the other ones very much. I don't know if any of that's been changed in this version. So far, this seems like the regular Somari layout. Oh, somebody did an interview with the guy that made this? Oh, these buzz bombers are the hardest to dodge, it seems. You can skid in the air. Oh! I am not going to get to the special stage this time either. Well, I'm going to at least beat it. This is the end, isn't it? Yep, I didn't have enough. You know, I want to play Pocket Adventure again, too. Yeah, I think that I read someone saying something about the person or people who made this, who made Somari originally. There was an interview with them. If you could get a link to that, I'd be interested to see it. Yeah, the Game Gear Master System physics, they're not like this. They're not like the Genesis either. Let me see. I'm gonna go around a loop here. Yeah, it's sort of like the Game Gear ones, where the loop is pretty much automatic. I just take my hand off of it and he'll go right around it. Yep. But yeah, there's also no regular slope physics either, so I guess they just didn't want to try to deal with the math for it on such a slow processor. I don't know, I'd be interested to see somebody try to do actual Sonic slope physics on here. I'm gonna try not to lose these rings. There's buzz bombers everywhere. Want to eat my face. Ah! Stupid crab. I actually think that Sonic 2 is my favorite one of the Game Gear Master System games too. In the 30s again, just like Act 1. Anybody remember when Pocket Adventure came out? It was basically called that because it was supposed to link with the Dreamcast and have some kind of data share with Sonic Adventure. I can't remember if they did that in Japan and it didn't come to other countries, or if they just completely abandoned the idea. I do not remember anything coming out of that in America, but that was the plan, to have those two games interact with some kind of connection between the two systems. Haha. Yeah, there's a it looks like a thing you're supposed to be able to go up or down. You just can't. Playing through this again, I'm starting to see some strong similarities between sections in the acts. So they must be using meta tiles. They must be using meta tiles in a similar way to the original, and they just have a very limited number of them. Ah, so nobody got it then. I don't remember what the connection was actually supposed to do. I think they may have gone into a little bit of detail about it, but I just can't remember. Polo Blue asks, the original is in Somari or Sonic 1. The stream may be a little bit behind, so I'm not sure what you're referring to, but if it has anything to do with me comparing physics between this game and something else, then by original I would most likely mean Sonic 1. Like, any of the deficiencies that are in here would have come directly from Somari. I think I played one that skipped straight to Spring Yard Zone, and then I think I played one that started with Green Hill, but it skipped over Marble Zone. Thank you, Gamma. He sends a super chat for $2, says, I'm sorry you have to play this. Oh, and I just noticed, I think I started back at the beginning of the level, so I don't think there are checkpoints in this game. I'm gonna want that one up. Oh! Wow, okay. That was my desk. The keyboard holder is pretty messed up. I just knocked it off. I just knocked it off the rails. Excuse me for just a moment. I'm still dealing with my desk, but to answer your question of where Sonic went, all the sprites disappear when you pause the game. Okay, I hope that doesn't happen again. I wasn't pressing very hard. So, the tray, the keyboard tray on my desk, it's been messed up for quite a while. It can't take a lot of pressure, and usually I don't put very much pressure on it. As with this time, I didn't really put much pressure on it. So, it may be nearing the end of its life. I'm going to give it another chance. Hopefully it'll hold. If not, I'll have to find a new place for my keyboard. Alright, let's get going again. I don't think I can get it from that side. Maybe from here. Oh, now it's worthless. Hey Cam, man, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I am afraid to put any pressure at all on it right now, on the desk. And I zone out when I'm playing this stuff. Where did I get an extra life? I just went back up to 4 lives. The extra speed in this version is a little bit of a curse sometimes, since the stopping isn't very reliable. No, this isn't Somari. Somari was a game that was made by a bootleg group in Asia. Somebody mentioned the name here earlier, I think. And this is a modification of Somari. Somari was called Somari because the main character was Somari. It was a character that looked like Mario and acted like Sonic. This is a modification where it just is Sonic. Yeah, this is the improvement mod. Ah, Taiwan, okay. And there was mention of a interview with Hummer Team, and again, I would like to see that if anybody has the URL. Yes, I have played Sonic Advance 1, 2, and 3. 3, I have not gotten all the Chaos Emeralds, and 2, I have not gotten all the Chaos Emeralds on all the characters. Wait. No, I think I eventually went back and got all the Chaos Emeralds on 3. I did not 100... what the hell is this? I did not 100% Sonic Adventure 2 though, because of how difficult it is to get into the special stage in the first place, and then how difficult to beat each special stage it is, and then how you have to beat each special stage and get all 7 Chaos Emeralds for each one of the playable characters to be able to get 100%. Nah. Maybe I'll go back and try. Maybe I'll go back and try it with save states at least. If I play, yeah, that would actually be too long to play on stream if I'd have to play through all of it to get Supersonic. What is my favorite Sonic Advance? Probably the first one. Ah. If I get to the end with 50 rings to make it into the special stage just once in this game, I'll count it as a victory. That's not gonna go away, is it? Oh, I do have 1 ring. I don't think Supersonic, the true final level in Supersonic should have been blocked behind get all Chaos Emeralds as all characters wall, though, especially when they made it so difficult to get all the Chaos Emeralds on a single character in the first place. It would have been good to have some kind of bonus if you did get all the Chaos Emeralds with all of the various characters, but I personally think that to get the true final boss with Supersonic should only have required you to get all the Chaos Emeralds once with Sonic. That was my thought. I've always thought that if there was a Sonic 4, it either was Sonic Adventure or Sonic Advance 1, depending on how you want to look at it. Technically, I think Sonic Adventure should qualify as the legitimate Sonic 4. It was a direct sequel to Sonic 3. And the idea behind the game that they called Sonic 4 is like, well, what if they continued to make numbered Sonic games? Yeah, what if they continued to make 2D Sonic games past Sonic 3? Well, in general, what if they continued to make Sonic games beyond Sonic 3 is Sonic Adventure? And if you want to get a little bit specific about it and say, what if they continued to make 2D games after Sonic 3, then Sonic Advance. Like I was stuck in the ground. You know what? I better start saving level by level. if you really take a good look at and feel of playing Sonic 4 and Sonic Rush, you'll get to see that they're very, very similar. It seems very much like Sonic 4 was the Sonic Rush engine as a base taken to try to make a regular Sonic a 2D Sonic game, and I don't really, it really wasn't built for that. The team that built the Advanced Engine, or well, first of all, the team that built the Advanced Engine is different than the team that built the Rush engine, but when they built the Rush engine, it was built for a specific kind of gameplay, and that was the Rush gameplay. And I enjoyed Sonic Rush when I played it, and I think that when you have gameplay like that, that engine works out fine. But that engine was not made for regular 2D Sonic, and it shows. Wow, game over. Is Sonic giving me... Sonic's giving me an attitude down there on the life counter. Hey, I tried. Yeah, that changed when I died. I can see we're gonna be here for a while. So I'm gonna try to play, I guess, what I would consider fair here, and unless I just start taking forever and get super frustrated, I'm only gonna save state at the beginning of a level. I'm not going to save state in the middle of a level to retry sections. Yeah, that makes me wonder too, whether or not that life icon thing is in Somari. It would... it would, if it's not, it would have had to been programmed in special for this mod. But if it was already happening in Somari, they could have just placed a new sprite over it. I think I'm just gonna have to damage boost here. So they have this on Sonic Retro's wiki, but there seems to be a problem. There is a DDoS going on Cloudflare right now. I don't know by who, I don't know why, but there is a major attack happening to the Cloudflare service right now. So anything that uses the Cloudflare service is going to be having problems for a little while, and that includes Sonic Retro's site. So I went there to get a screenshot of the title screen for this for my tweet today, and it's down. It is down. So I am glad that I already downloaded everything I needed from there yesterday. Well, it wasn't even yesterday. I think it was the day before yesterday. But once that stops, once Cloudflare is back, and once Sonic Retro is back, you'll be able to find this there. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog Improvement. You could probably just search that with the name Sonic Retro on Google, and it should come right up. Ha, save state some more, okay. I will create my own checkpoints. The real challenge is just getting through this game at all. Yeah, it really depends on where you are as to whether or not you'll be affected by these things. I'm not sure whether or not I'd be able to access Retro right now if I tried, but I know that, like, right before I started my stream, I wasn't able to. This looks like a good place for a checkpoint. That was close. You know, let me see. I will check on Retro right now. There it is. Yeah. Yeah, I guess their section of Cloudflare at the very least is back up. This almost looks like it has Super Mario Land physics. What game is this mod based on? This is based on a bootleg from Taiwan called Somari, which originally featured a character named Somari who looked like Mario and acted like Sonic. There are some aspects that have been modified about the physics here that feel better, and then there's just, you can really tell this is still Somari. in some way the controls are too loose, in some way they're too tight. They're just not reliable. We still have those tile glitches too. I did notice the tearing along the edges of the screen. You know, speaking of which, whoever did this must have been good enough with the hardware, because I remember when Mario 3 came out, it was a amazing feat that they got multi-directional scrolling working. And to do it reliably, they still had to add that. HUD at the bottom that killed off the last. I think the bottom 3 or 4 tiles or tile rows. But here we got full screen. We've got full screen multi-directional scrolling, which I think did also show up in a few other later NES games. But yeah, I think Mario 3 was the first one to do it, and it was a super special thing at the time. That's also why we got some certain tropes like in games like Metroid or Mega Man, where you have to get to the edge of the screen and then you touch it and it scrolls across or up or down to a new area in which you can scroll, which the area scrolls in the opposite direction. So like you're moving through a horizontal hall, you get to the end, there's a door, you go through the door, it horizontally scrolls into the next room, but the next room is a vertical shaft. And that's why they did that, because of the difficulty in getting multi-directional scrolling to work. How is this modified graphically? The Somari I played only had a handful of colors. I'm not sure. The one I played didn't look any less colorful than this. There are several variants, so it's possible that you had some kind of weird other modified one, or maybe there was something up with the emulation when you played it. That was 8 already. That's 10. 11? Why 11? I gotta comment on how much better the music is. I think I've heard these versions before too. I think so. I read they were made in Family Tracker, and I think I've heard some Family Tracker Sonic 1 music before, and it may just be from the same person. Why even bother? They don't work. The curves don't work. Yadrin's dangerous. I don't think you can... Yeah, you can't hurt him at all. Not even if you spin at him on the side. Like, I like the Japanese names for some of the enemies in particular, but Yadrin, I know I use that name because, well, I think they didn't, they never actually came up with an English name for him. I don't think there's an English name for Yadrin. Well, that slope has some physics to it. Hmm. Yeah, that one doesn't. I think they're just not consistent with the settings on some of these either. Ah! I forgot entirely. Mm. Wilson says they never understood why Cope was written in lights. I think it's just got to do with there was at one point, I'm not sure if it's still going on, but there was at one point this sort of thing going around in Japan where it was where they were a little bit obsessed with American culture, and one of the things that they thought was cool was to use English words for certain things, and that's where you get certain stuff showing up in English that's like out of place or out of context. Sometimes it's right, but yeah, I think that the reason that happened in Sonic 1, I don't know. I've never seen anybody talk about this or talk to anybody about it, but my guess would just be that, yeah, because for a Japanese person in the 90s, using English words on occasion is a cool thing to do. Hmm. Alright, I'm gonna have to claim a checkpoint somewhere in there. Oh, here we go again. Whew. We still got some glitches in the music here, it seems. Alright, I call checkpoint. Man, it's too bad I left it myself here with no rings. Okay. This is the one I gotta be careful with. Ah. Oh, yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Labyrinth Zone. Trying to spin through there, but it's not quite taking that fast enough. Wait, why am I... Maybe I should start back at the beginning so I can bring some rings over here. Yeah, I'll do that. Well, in response to this looking unfair, I would say that I think that it would be less unfair if the controls were good. Most of the difficulty of this game is like even after the modification from the original Somari, most of the difficulty is in how not right the controls are. Alright, this is going to work out better. Ah, come back, come back, come back. Wow, that curve worked. But again, it's... automatic. Just like the loops. A big arrow. I wonder if this is going to give me an opportunity to go to the special stage. As long as I don't run into anything here. Ah. I imagine the end must be coming up soon. Of course! Had to be a buzz bomber. I don't think there is a 1-up jingle in here. I think I've gotten a 1-up several times and it didn't play any special sound. Oh yeah, there are 1-up boxes, but he was asking about the little jingle that plays, that da 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 da. I don't think that exists here. Like creep up on everything. I was tempted to roll into that guy again, but I know that that's not good in this version. I just noticed, whenever I'm spinning to the right, it looks like Sonic's spinning animation is running backwards. I don't think that I can get by that safely. That doesn't look fair at all. I'm gonna save state this. Ah! Okay, well I was gonna call this a checkpoint anyway. I'm still noticing those bits where the just the repeated level layout bits. Like especially this one. Don't really want to rush around in this one. I know I've played Sonic Jam 6, but I can't remember the last time. Oh, nice. Nice. Fortunately, I have save states right now. You know, actually, I do remember the last time I played, Sonic Jam 6. I met somebody who had the actual cartridge. So it was, man, I can't remember. I can't remember suddenly. It was one of the artists on Sonic Mania, and we were talking before release, and when we got together to celebrate the release of Sonic Mania, I had mentioned that I had a Game Boy Pocket well, it's the one with the backlight. I think he called it a Game Boy Light, and that was given to me by someone who also follows me on Twitter, that I met on Sonic Retro, and he gave it to me in exchange for one of the signed Sonic manuals I had, which if you are curious, I'm out of signed ones. I do still have some that haven't been signed. And I mentioned that I had it while I was talking with the Mania team, and one of the artists said that he had Sonic Jam 6, an actual cartridge, and he wanted to try it out on hardware. So I took it with me to the meetup, and we played it together there. How much variation is there in this game's boss battles? I actually don't remember. It's been a while since I played Somari, but the first boss was basically the same, just a different implementation. The second boss actually was pretty similar too. Yeah, so I don't know. Some of the rest of the ones from here on out may have some more differences, but I think that the first two that I've fought so far, I think that they were similar enough to the original. And if you who gave me the Game Boy Light are watching this, I apologize for not mentioning names. I think that so I know you best by your Sonic Retro name, but I think now you go by Gabriel, which I assume is your regular name. But yeah, I absolutely do not mean any disrespect whatsoever. That was a great trade. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you were happy with the manual that I was able to give you. Oh, well, that tells me I need to do that. Taking another moment to look at the chat, I think there are people who are complimenting Sonic Mania to say that it's the best overall Sonic game, and thank you very much. Even to the people who say that it's the best bar Sonic 3, just to have it up there, with the Genesis ones is great, and I am very happy to have been involved with something that people enjoy so much. Great. That other one was a warning, and I am thankful for it. And I do too. I would love an opportunity to make a follow-up to Sonic Mania, especially if it were completely full of original levels. I agree, the level layouts in Mania were very strong. Okay. I hear and acknowledge you, game. Oh, here we go. Okay, so this one is also pretty similar. Just basically what you might expect from an NES implementation. I have a bad feeling about this. Ah. Here's where a checkpoint would be anyway. That's 11 hits again. That's weird. Alright. How's this gonna go? Wow. The in-water and out-of-water physics are just... It's just so jarring to switch directly between them. Have I played Freedom Planet? Yes, I have. Been quite a while, and I only played it with Lilac. I haven't played it with the other two yet. Huh, drowning music. Okay, I'll stick around and see. Hey, all the bubbles are on the same wobble timer. It's taken a while before I even get a warning. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't have the warning sound. Looks like it doesn't have a... Okay, there's the countdown. I am, for some reason, getting strong feelings of the Sonic 1 Game Gear Labyrinth Zone rather than the Sonic 1 Genesis one, even though the rest of this game is almost as Genesis-like as it can be. I wouldn't mind if I had the time to take a crack at proper Sonic physics on the NES myself. I see. So yeah, so they're not using a trick to recolor anything here for when you're underwater. They're actually using differently colored tiles. And down here you can see they didn't color the ones at the very, very bottom. Well, what's been taking up most of my time lately? I'm sure that almost everybody here knows about Vertebreaker, and then what happened there. How we were trying to get a pretty ambitious 16-bit looking Genesis-style game up and running, and we needed some funding, but the funding didn't quite work out because basically we need all of the funds that it would take to develop from start to finish, because we had no capital to start off with, and that didn't work out. So we've had to move on to some smaller projects in the meantime that we can hopefully get out very fast and start building up some more capital. Right now, one of them that's coming out soon is called Peer Pressure. It's a 2D side-scrolling horizontal shooter that has sort of a sea life theming with the characters and stuff. It's kind of short, 4 levels. Each level has a boss. Gonna be a final boss. And we're hoping that's gonna come out by the end of August. Aside from that, I am also... Aside from that, I'm also working on, you may or may not have heard of Sandro Gomez. It's from a team who, they only recently came up with their name. They call themselves Cellar Chateau. It's run by someone who calls himself Sparks Online. Or he calls himself online, he calls himself Sparks. So yeah, the team name that they finally came up with is Cellar Chateau, and they had been making, originally they were making a game called Kyle and Lucy Wonder World, and they were making that in Click Team Fusion, but it became a little too much for Click Team Fusion. They were running into all kinds of problems with it, and they just wanted to do so much with it that they couldn't continue with it for the moment. So something else they were going to do was they were going to make another game that was sort of 8-bit-ish called Sandro Gomez, and it was originally going to be embedded in Kyle and Lucy as an unlockable, but it eventually turned into a full-blown game of its own. And they're sort of doing the same thing that Headcanon ourselves are doing, which is to use the sales of the smaller games to make capital to continue with the larger game. So right now they and I are moving forward on Sandro Gomez. It was late last year that I came to them and talked to them about porting it over from Click Team Fusion to my new Methyl engine, and eventually we came to an agreement, and I started rebuilding it myself in Methyl. So I am the primary and currently only programmer now that that's happened. And I'm not sure when that's coming out. It may be before mid next year. I don't know. It would be more Sparks' place to come up with when he actually wants to release it. Belt Vertebreaker looking great. Thank you. We all tried really hard on that, and we're really proud of what we had done. We hope that one day we can get back to it. So the most recent thing that's been shown for, well, recently I did also show some, 2 screenshots of level 1 from Peer Pressure. You can find that on my Twitter. So I posted it originally on Headcanon's Twitter, head_canon, and then I retweeted that on my personal account, HC Stealth. And that's a follow-up to an earlier teaser post I had made about the new villain, which has a hand-drawn silhouetted image of the main villain, Tony. And after that, I had been working on platform support for Methyl, where hopefully any games that I make with Methyl personally, at least, will be released on Linux and Mac as well as Windows. So Linux and Mac support is still in development, but I've gotten it far enough along to run the game, and I'd shown off a couple of videos of that on my Twitter also. And with that, I had made those videos using Sandro, so it shows Sandro Gomez running on Linux and running on Mac. This coming week, I should have at least one more tweet about Peer Pressure to post up. I'm hoping to get one out on Monday, so that'll be tomorrow. I think this needs to be a checkpoint if I can get this bubble. Oh, is it gonna do this to me again? Come on. This one's not even producing. I should have moved on already. If I'm starting back at the beginning, I may as well. What? It's frozen. I imagine if that happens only a minute later, I might have run into something like that a lot more readily on hardware. Okay, I used my own engine. Do I have any suggestions to new programmers who want to make 2D games? There's a lot of stuff out there. I'm looking toward getting something out myself to help people under the Headcanon brand. So I have HCGE that I had been working on. I have the bubbles carry up into the air. And I have... Gonna checkpoint. Yeah, excuse me. I have been working on HCGE for a very long time, and then Methyl came around, and I'm kind of working on them simultaneously, but I haven't actually had a chance to work on HCGE in a while. I do hope to get that out there as an option for people who want to make their own 2D games. As for what's already out there, it does take a while and some skill to make your own base engine to build a game in. So some people may not want to go through that at this point in their process, but it really helps to have complete access to the internals of the engine and to know exactly how it works, to have it built exactly for your usage. But of the stuff that's out there right now, there are people who have done some really great things with a lot of different ones. I mentioned earlier Click Team Fusion. That one, there's some crazy people out there who have pulled off some great stuff with that, but I really would not recommend Click Team Fusion 2, because it's just the way you do stuff in there. It's just weird. It is. I do this stuff myself, and I can't wrap my head around Click Team Fusion. Game Maker, I've seen that. That's I've tried that out too. It's not too bad. Lots and lots of people use Game Maker. I've also heard good things about Godot. Unity just comes to mind right now. I have also tried to use Unity, and I have also tried to use Unity for a 2D game. I do not recommend it. It's not built for 2D games, and the 2D support is very tacked on. It's just really hard to work with, and not you can just tell that the 2D stuff is an afterthought. People have successfully used it, but from what little experience I have with it, that's my take on it. It just is not it is not made for 2D stuff, and they tried to inject some 2D functionality into it, but it's not quite there right now. anybody starting out, I would suggest looking for something that's specifically geared toward making 2D games. If you made or released your own engine, or released paid tutorial videos or Patreon tiers for programming, game creation, advice, etc., I would pay. Well, yeah, I really appreciate that, and I kind of hope I can get to the position where I can start doing something like that. Maybe after a couple of releases or so for games, I can get back to core engine development in the sense of making it ready for end users and stuff, and actually be able to take the time to come up with some tutorials and stuff for HCGE, which I've been wanting to do for a very, very long time, but I've never ever had the chance to get around to it. It looks like there's a not underwater part below this underwater part, which I guess it would make sense if the water were contained within this area, but the way it's drawn here. Checkpoint? Okay, I thought maybe that was the end, but I got some rings. Oh! I did get into the special stage, alright. Okay, so since there, like, aren't any actual Chaos Emeralds in the game, I've made it in here once, so yay, that's a victory. So this is a weird combination. It's the music from Sonic 1 Genesis' special stage, but the actual special stage from Sonic 1 on the Game Gear and Master System. I don't imagine it would have turned out very well if they had tried to create the Genesis version's special stage on the NES. So yeah, here's my chance to see if you get a... Yeah, you do get an extra life for 100 rings. I bet they don't even have the continue boxes in here. Because you couldn't get the Chaos Emeralds in the special stage in the Master System version either, but the special stages were for earning continues, I think. Unless they were more for score, but that is where you could get the continue boxes. Yeah, there's no continue box. Yeah, this is the improvement. This is the improvement mod of Somari. So what about Unity for 3D games? Currently working on trying to get something to work in it, but yeah, I get why some people prefer to make their own engines instead, especially since Unity tends to change. Um, well, again, from my experience with Unity, I did I did try to use it for 2D, and I was I was pretty unsatisfied with it and had a lot of trouble trying to get things to work out just right. It just was for me. It just wasn't worth the kind of time and effort I had to put into just working around its quirks and even finding information on how to do the things that I need to do. It's just very difficult to find that stuff online for some reason. For 3D, it's built for 3D, and I know that it's like better off when you try to use it for 3D, but from my experience with trying to work with it with 2D, I'm still not personally happy with it, with how it works, and with the ability to actually learn anything about it, and also, as you said, how frequently it changes too. That's just a mess for people trying to develop stuff. But yeah, I haven't personally tried using it for 3D, so I wouldn't be able to give be able to give a complete opinion on it. Well, I can also tell you I personally do not like C sharp, and C sharp is what you would be using to program within the Unity engine. I had problems with that because I'm very used to using regular C, and I use that most of the time instead of even C++. But I definitely like regular C, where you can just do whatever you need to. It not doesn't have these weird safeties and automatic memory managers and stuff. For one thing, those things do add at least a little bit of overhead. If you know what you're doing when you're creating your own program under something like C, and doing memory management like allocation, deallocation, then you'll be fine. You make mistakes. I make mistakes sometimes, but they can be tracked down, and personally, I feel like it's... personally, I feel like it's better to just be that low level and do it yourself than to rely on stuff that tries to do it for you, because besides it being a system that will slightly weigh down processing, it's also predictive in some ways, and I don't know. Personally, I don't trust parts of compilers or interpreters or anything like that that are predictive to know exactly what I want. I just rather do it myself. There's too many bubblers. There's too many bubblers here that don't do anything. Let's see if this one works. Not in time. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to play around the lack of bubblers. Definitely got to be conservative and pick up air whenever I can. That's taking a little too long. This is a spot where the physics will kill you. That's better. I don't have time for those rings. That looks like... yeah, it's a dead end. And this bubbler doesn't work. Maybe there's another one nearby. I used to use raw HTML myself for my much older web pages, back before all of this other fancy stuff came out and made it so that basically you can't ever load any web page that exists anymore on a low-end system. I still with my own sites I still like to keep it kind of simple. Sometimes I'll use style sheets or something, a little bit of the newer HTML stuff, but I don't like to get too into it because it's just not necessary, really. I'm always for keeping stuff simple and supporting lower end stuff for as long as possible. Yeah, this is where the slippery controls will get you. I'm surprised there wasn't a swinging ball there. And back when I learned HTML, it was still 1 point something if it wasn't 1.0. This part looks just like one I've already gone through. Ugh, that's too tight of a squeeze. I should probably grab this. That's another dead end. Yeah, that is some weird level design right there. I knew there was going to be trouble at the top of that. Huh. Okay, so will it reset? Okay, it did. Yeah, the physics here aren't very good for a setup like that. You really gotta make sure that when you're designing levels that they are designed around how the physics in the game play. That looks weird. Oh yeah, good luck with your classes, Simon. It is never not going to be weird to say my own name. That's great, Yarkaz. I hope that helps you go places. get poked. I thought it would withdraw already. I'm probably gonna hit this turn to do that. Yeah. I don't know if there is a way to to time that right. Oh, that's good to hear. I hear this. I hear that the debt can get really, really bad. Do not like. Here's a working bubbler. I would have made that one. They really should have added checkpoints to this. These levels are super long. That's not fair. Oh, why am I waiting there? That's not even... That's not even making small bubbles. I would have messed myself up. Oh, that one's producing. Come on. Ah. You know, something I would like to see would be a disassembly of this game. Where was that other one? There was... So I know there was one that was actually making bubbles that I must have breezed right by on my way up there. But yeah, I would like to see a disassembly of this game so some real modifications can be done to it. Just like more major stuff. Maybe somebody could even put the proper physics in it. I don't think I saw a working bubbler on my way up that time. If none of those are working, I don't think it's possible to get through that area. So I have to run this as fast as possible. There's one. It stopped. I got here and it stopped. I wonder if I can trigger it. Ugh. It looks like it might have something to do with when it becomes active and if it goes back off the screen and comes back on quickly, or maybe something like that. Yeah. Somebody could fix these two. Is Eggman gonna be here, or is it just going to, I'm gonna want that. So is there gonna be something like he's just sitting at the top and all I have to do is hit him once to end it? Oh, he's not even here. There he is. It explodes for no reason. How does one even make a disassembly? I've always been curious. Do you just take a look at the binary inputs outputs of a game and read it as machine language or something? Well, so there is assembly code and there's machine code, and machine code is what you turn it into as a binary that the computer can read. This is an interesting design here on Starlight Zone. And the assembly language is more human readable. It gets converted into the machine code. And so with the assembly being able to be converted into machine code, it does naturally follow that machine code can be converted back into more human readable assembly code. And so yeah, you would need a way to do that. Either you are insane and you do it by hand by looking at all of the opcodes and figuring out exactly what they are, what the assembly language for that is, and then writing it down yourself, or you use a disassembler that will automatically turn the opcodes back into assembly language for the whatever processor it is you're working with. Most people have been using, for the stuff that, a lot of the stuff I've seen, most people have been using IDA or IDA Pro, which supports a ton of different processors. So you still need to do a little bit of your own work by, well, depending on which game it is and how much of it you want, a little to a lot of your own work, by telling it where to look for code and try to disassemble it, and marking and formatting data yourself. Oh, that guy's invincible. So I have personally done that with Sonic 1, Sonic 3, and well, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, when I say Sonic 3, and Knuckles in Sonic 2. And yeah, to get it complete, especially, it is a chore. And it does still take some knowledge and figuring things out on your own. In particular, the way data is formatted and how it's used. I think I did that since I got here. Of course it's a buzz bomber. What was that? I didn't even push left. Hey, Beats. Imagine a Sonic 3 done compilation. Yeah, I imagined that a long time ago. I did it. I made the original complete disassembled and data formatted disassembly of Sonic 3 that was then used to do the split disassembly that's being used now. It was a real task. Ah. It appears that I had cut out for a second there. I don't know. I don't know what was the last thing I said that made it through. Sonic's still rolling backwards. It's always the ring in that one spot that you can't get going around the loop. Yeah, the disassembly I did that was then turned into the split disassembly that that is in use currently is I think it was used for Sonic 3 Air. Used for Sonic 3 Air, Sonic 3 Complete. Why do the loops look so broken? Well, it's sort of the same thing as with the Game Gear and Master System versions on systems that were so lower powered as the Master System, the Game Gear, and the NES in comparison to how much more power the Genesis has. It was either impossible for them to create proper Sonic physics and have it not run super slow, or they just didn't have the knowledge or talent to do that. Like I said earlier in the stream, I'd like to have a crack at trying to implement real Sonic physics on the NES, and I also just wouldn't mind seeing someone else do it. But in this game, just like in the Game Gear games, they automate the process of the player going around loops and stuff. Like, you hit a certain point with above a certain amount of speed, then it automatically just goes through the motion of having you go around the loop, but you can't like physically actually control going around the loop yourself. Genesis, Sonic Genesis. Yeah, I know that's not what you meant, but the way you said it there just it reminds me of it, and you know, I remember how that one is, but one of the specifics that I can't remember is whether or not it automated loops. I wouldn't be surprised if it did, but maybe it didn't. I've really got to go have another look at that. Maybe I'll play that on stream sometime. That same one. You know, ever since Sat AM, these bomb guys sort of remind me of SWAT bots. I guess in particular the earlier design of SWAT bots that appeared in early Archie comics and the pilot episode of Sat AM, where they were colored more silver instead of that dingy dark blue. How so? How so do you mean, how so do they remind me of SWAT bots? I guess it's just the helmet. Ha! Was I a fan of Sad AM? Yes. Yes, I was. Or am. Have I played any 3D Sonic fan games? I have played at least a couple, but it's been a long time. Like, I played really old versions of SRB2 before. In fact, I was briefly involved with the development on it. Very briefly, really, but... Ah. I didn't even save at the beginning of this level. This is the last one, I think. Well, no, there is Final Zone. So Scrap Brain. So Scrap Brain doesn't exist for some reason. I think that there's data in there for Scrap Brain, like they were gonna add it, but they didn't for some reason. Limitations for having Scrap Brain Zone in there? I don't know. Maybe they didn't have enough space for another whole level. I don't know how much of the data is actually in there either. They couldn't have pulled off some of the gimmicks, really, but they didn't really pull off some of the gimmicks in some of the other levels either. Like, they don't even have the, they don't even have the seesaws here. I can't jump off the wall, it makes you jump straight down. And then you get to the top and you lose horizontal control. I may not be able to actually get up there. Yeah. I'll take the other path. Is it? Oh. No, this was just a way to go up. so it looks like I have to find a way through there. You know, I had always wondered why Sonic 1 on the Game Gear and Master System was Sonic 1, and they used some Genesis Sonic 1 stuff, but the... Okay, so this boss is different, but then they didn't use all of the Sonic 1 stages. That's kind of strange to me. Because they do have Green Hill, and they do have Scrap Brain. But Green Hill's, between the two of them, Green Hill's the only one that keeps the original music, too. Why to jump? Why did he skid out there? There's that face again. I actually saw the change this time. Alright, I think I got my strategy. This isn't gonna... It wasn't gonna go well. Alright, that seems like an even better strategy. Okay, at least that one came back. I lost count of how many times I've hit him so far. Alright, it must have been 10 at a time. Mm. They home in on you in this one. Like, if I remember correctly, in Sonic 1, they just target where you are when they start moving. In this one, they change direction. Oh, this is gonna take a bit, I think. Not fair. Mm. Got one hit. Got one hit in. Wow, that killed me before it even hit the ground. Like, I was off the ground, the pillar hadn't gotten far enough down to crush me. And it may get the point where I have to save after every hit. Mm. Ah. Oh, two. Ah, I was holding left at that point too. He's stuck jumping. So, how many emeralds does he have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5? Yeah, it looks like 5. No, he didn't. Well, it looks like it sticks there when you end it. Okay, so that Control Z thing for saves sounds weird, but I will give it a shot now and see what happens. Hit Control Z. Ah, yeah. Yeah, so right there I was going back and forth between two saves. That is a weird feature. Well, I guess that does it for the stream today, unless there's a significant number of people that want me to move on to something else. Oh yeah, the level select code. Let me give it a reset. There we go. Wait. That's a checkpoint sound. How much would it take to pay me to do a test or example disassembly video? I'm not gonna lie, to be paid to do some of that stuff would help me out. I I don't like often asking for money. I do sell services and stuff, and I am going to be selling the game that we're coming out with. But I don't know. Like if anybody has any ideas as to what they would like to see me put out in terms of a stream or a video, and you want to put down a little donation on it or something, you can make some offers, and I'll see what I can do. Uh, as far as one for an example disassembly, uh, I don't know what I would do in that capacity. I could put some thought into it. Yeah, these are major improvements over Somari. Oh, there's the jingle. It never plays, but there it is. Chaos Emerald too. Ah, yeah, I like this. Ah, the whole ending medley. So what else did Hummer Team do besides Somari? I've never tried Donkey Kong Country NES. Does the original Somari have level select? Oh, yes, it does. Okay. So I figured it would since it's in here. So I also have regular Somari. Oh, here we go. Retro's down again. And I accidentally pushed back when I loaded the level select page, and Cloudflare is having its trouble again, so I can't get it back. Alright, cutting room floor works. So, left, down, B, A, right, up, A, B, up, down, start. So we can hear the contrast in the sounds. Did I ever play the Master System or Game Gear games? I haven't streamed them yet, but I've played them several times in the past. Yeah, these are all coming back to me now. They're on my list. I will do some streams for the Master System Sonic games. Ooh. Oh, okay, so they did the original did use the Master System Game Gear song. I don't remember hearing this one before. Ah, okay. We don't even have Scrap Brain in the original. Let's see. Well, I guess this one isn't bad. Like, not bad, bad. Alright, looks like I still have a good number of people here, so, I have a question for you guys. I think that I'm going to need to do a little bit of extra work, so I will make a choice. I will allow you guys to make the choice. Either I will stream something else tonight, or I will stop for tonight and stream again on Wednesday. If I continue to stream tonight, I may not run a Wednesday stream because of my workload. What would you guys prefer? All right, so it looks like most of the votes are coming back for having a Wednesday stream. Okay, so yeah, I will get back to work tonight then, and I will that will give me a little more time to actually do the Wednesday stream next week. So I guess I will see you guys then. Thank you for everybody for coming out. I hope you all had fun. I had fun playing this and chatting with you guys, and I hope to see you again on my next stream. Um, I will as soon as I figure out what I'm streaming next time. If you want to leave some suggestions in the chat right now, you can go ahead. But as soon as I figure out what exactly I'm streaming on Wednesday, I will let you know on Twitter. So my Twitter is HC Stealth for the people who aren't following me right now. Uh, for the Headcanon account, where I only tweet about the games that we're making with through the Headcanon company. That's head_canon. Uh, it's supposed to be headcanon, one word, but somebody was already using that on Twitter. And it should, if I'm not mistaken, up in the right hand corner of the screen is a link to my personal Twitter. There's a link to the Discord chat if you'd like to hop in there and have a chance to chat with me every now and then. Chat with all the other people that are in there. It's got a lot of people already, actually. My Patreon is up here if you would like to use that to help support my game development or my streaming, any of my videos, any of that stuff. And there's also a link to the Headcanon website where you can find out some more about some of the games that we've already released. And hopefully I'll get around to updating it soon with the one we're going to with the ones we're going to be doing in the near future, which underscore is like the underline. It's on the keyboard. It's when you hold shift and press minus. Uh, so what was I saying? Yeah. Hopefully, I'll get some stuff set up for the newer games that we're gonna be working on soon. Which again, I've mentioned on Twitter recently two games that I am currently working on. One of them is headcanon specific. It's called Peer Pressure. It is a 2D side-scrolling shoot 'em up with sort of a sea life theme, and it's gonna have four levels. They're pretty big. Each level has a boss. There's a final boss. There's a little bit more to it. There's three different playable ships that have their own unique attack styles, and that I'm hoping for that to come out by the end of August. And other than that, I am also currently working on Cellar Chateau's game Sandro Gomez, which is a 2D platformer. It is in the style of an NES game. You could probably draw some comparisons between it and the original Castlevania, maybe. Is basically the character acts sort of similar. Has a whip like attack. One of the recent features that was added to it was swinging from certain points that you can attach to, which is something that I was able to add once we made the switch from Click Team Fusion to my Methyl engine, and that one we are looking to get it out early-ish next year. We hope, And aside from that, there's another game on the horizon for Headcanon, which I haven't given out any information about yet, but sometime within the next few months or so, you may see something about it show up. That one probably won't be done till sometime next year, maybe. And other than that, there is also Kyle and Lucy from the Scheller Chateau team, which I'll be programming for after we move it to Bethel once Sandro Gomez is finished. And think I think that's it. So yeah, again, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream today. Thank you again for coming to hang out with me, and I will see you again on